Victor Crowley is defying death once again. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Hatchet 3. I believe the final Hatchet movie, if I'm not mistaken. So, we've done the first two on the channel. If you haven't seen those, go check those out. But we're here with the third Hatchet film now. And I'm curious to see kind of where this ends up going. Because last time it seemed, I believe, it's been a while. I believe that we saw Victor be killed again. But I don't know. I feel like it felt more like it's been a while. So I'm trying to remember everything. Let me check how long it's actually been. But it's like I believe it was more direct and succinct. It felt more like he died. But then again, with a lot of these horror movie villains, it's like a lot of them somehow survive death a lot. And sometimes it's explained, sometimes it just never is. Sometimes you just have no actual explanation for how it's happening. So it's just kind of hard to say. And when you don't watch something for a while before getting to a sequel, whether that's naturally because, oh, you watch a movie when it comes out, but then years later it comes out with a sequel, or you do it like I do, and it's like, oh, all the movies are already out, but I'm still going to watch them separated just because I don't want to get to everything right away. I want to have time to, think about everything. It sometimes leads to me forgetting things. I don't remember any names. I believe Tony Todd's character did die in the second one, though. So, there is that. But yeah, it's been a while, and I'm actually having trouble finding it here. Oh, there we go. I had to put it in capitals. It wouldn't come up if I put Hatchet in all lowercase. So yeah, the last time we reacted to this was last year in January. So it has been well over a year. It was January 29th, 2024 that we put up Hatchet 2 reaction. Hatchet 1 was in June of 2023. So it's been a lot longer of a break, but we are finally back to it. So yeah. Yeah, I think the main girl survived. I think she might have been the only one. But again, it's been a while. You know what? How about I just look it up? I just want to see how it ended. So let me look up Hatchet 2 from 2010. I just want to remember how it ended. Yeah, Mary Beth strikes Victor in the head with his hatchet, knocking him to the ground, and chops his head into a bloody pulp. Then she grabs Zombie's shotgun and fires it into the remains of Victor's head. Yeah. So it was very much one of those cases where it felt very final. But clearly it's not. Somehow Victor is going to come back. No clue how, but somehow. Of course, mind you, he shouldn't have been back in the first place, even in the first movie, because didn't he technically die, in the past? If I'm remembering all the lore and story right? Wasn't that the entire thing? He died, when his father, locked him in the... I think accidentally, but locked him in the house when it burned down or something? I think so? God, it's been a while. Hopefully they recap enough. But even if they don't, hopefully the movie on its own is just still good. And I'll probably, I probably have enough swirling in my head to where it will come to light whenever I need it. And I'll be able to follow along. I'm sure. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what happens here. And so this is, by the way, a donation reward for Venom. I should mention that, just like the first two were. But let us get into this and see what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I found out after ending the reaction that there is apparently a fourth and final film just called Victor Crowley instead of Hatchet. And I looked on my list of, like, donation rewards and everything. Apparently you haven't suggested that, Venom. I only had like the 3 Hatchet movies there. I didn't have Victor Crowley, so that's interesting. There's an idea for the future, I guess. But anyway, I don't know how there's going to be another one, because we found out like the qualifications for killing him for good, and we fulfilled that. So yeah, I don't see like what the deal is supposed to be. Also, on that note, this movie also ends with Mary Beth maybe dying or not, so maybe the next one would answer like for sure what the if she did or not is. Wow, I worded that terribly. The next movie probably answers whether she did die or not. But it is funny to me that that this same actor who died in the first 2 movies as 2 different characters comes back in this one as another new character and is like the only confirmed survivor. That's really funny to me, and you know they did that on purpose. Literally everyone else, except maybe Mary Beth, but we don't know for sure, died. I gotta say, the kills in this, for the most part, were not as good as the previous films. They felt a little less interesting. Part of my enjoyment of these Hatchet films have been like the creative and interesting kills, and I don't know, most of them just didn't seem that creative. There were a couple that were good, like I liked when he did the Mortal Kombat thing and ripped the dude's the SWAT guy's spine and a skull out. That was pretty cool. That was probably my favorite in terms of the kills. But other than that, it's like a couple people like got their heads ripped off and just got like axed and had limbs taken and everything, and it's just like, okay, there wasn't as much creativity, and I feel like there wasn't as much attention put into the deaths in this one. They just didn't hit in the same way, you know what I mean? The story obviously is a direct continuation off of the first 2, and you know, just is trying to close everything out, trying to like investigate everything that happened with the first 2 films, but also close it out in terms of wrapping up the story and everything. But again, apparently not, Don't know how that's going to continue, but yeah, it's really fascinating to me that that this movie acted as a finale to this trilogy, but they continued. Because the movie was clearly meant to be a finale. It was clearly meant to close this out, to wrap everything up. The second movie gave us a lot of lore. This one told us how to kill him for good. And again, we seemingly did so. So I don't know where it's going from here. I don't know what to expect. Um, but, I mean, that's kind of the fun of it, to find out. The characters in this were I wasn't as invested in as some of the others. Like you didn't have anyone who was like really exciting or interesting. The only ones besides maybe Mary Beth that I really cared about was the survivor. I can't Andrew was Andrew, and the one woman, the new transfer, because she seemed very nice and cute. It's like those two and Mary Beth are like the only characters I really cared about. I liked seeing Sid Haig in this. That was a really good surprise because I don't think his name was shown in the credits, the opening credits. Mind you, he was not a huge role, an important character, but his role was still pretty minor. Um, it was still good to see him in this for the small role it was, and he had fun with it. Even if his character was, a racist, homophobic asshole. Uh, yeah, and most of the others were like most of the SWAT team and the police there were expendable. They try to make you kind of care about the police chief. There's also the one like panicked deputy, and you obviously have his the chief's ex-wife. You have Ernie. You have the SWAT team leader, but it's like none of them really. I didn't really care about any of them. Like none of their deaths bothered me because I just didn't care. I had no reason to care. They didn't feel like they were developed as characters that well. And with this movie being like an hour, less than an hour and 20 minutes, that kind of makes sense. Like these movies, and I think you could count this with all of the Hatchet movies, aren't really made for that kind of thing. You're not really supposed to get super attached to these characters. They're not supposed to have a lot of depth or development to them outside of Mary Beth. Mary Beth is really the only character that truly matters. Everyone else is expendable. Because that's the kind of films these are. They're horrors, slasher films with a slight edge of comedy, and um, are meant to be like these kind of like gory splatter films with a lot of crazy effects and whatnot. Kind of like the Terrifier movies, but honestly, the Terrifier movies have made more of an actual effort into making the characters interesting, um, and having more depth starting in Terrifier 2. Terrifier 1, you could definitely compare it to, but Terrifier 2 and on, like, they actually put effort into the characters. So it's like, even that you can't fully compare. Um, this just, it didn't have quite the same level of humor as the first two, especially the second. The second one definitely had a lot more of a comedic edge to it than the first or the third. This one seemed a little more serious. It did have a lot of the comedic, jokey stuff too, a lot of the self parody, and a lot of it was also self referential to the previous films and whatnot. Like, even pointing out, like, Mary Beth continuing to go back is, like, stupid and contrived. Like, they actually even use the word contrived, which is really funny. But at the same time, it again, it really wasn't about that. So that's why the story was super basic too. it's like, oh, we have the police and the SWAT going in, and then we have this B plot where Ernie, the reporter lady who's the ex-wife of the chief, and Mary Beth going on a little trip to get the ashes. Which is weird that Mary Beth's part was the B plot to this, right? Like, that's kind of weird. But it's kind of like flipping the conventions on its head a little bit, and I can kind of dig that. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where this continues to go for the future. Hopefully, Venom, you'll donate for Victor Crowley at some point. I don't know like how soon I'd be able to get to that, but we'll see. Hopefully, it wouldn't end up being like, well, provided when you donate for it, it wouldn't end up being like another year and I don't know 9 months or so, however long that was. Let me try to get this. Wow, I think, yeah, I got that correct. Holy shit. How the hell did I do that? And that was a year and 9 months since the last. Wow. I am actually kind of impressed by myself. Because I did that kind of off the top of my head. January to October, because October is the 10th month. I mean, it makes sense, but I'm bad at math, so that's a win for me, okay? To just figure that out, like, on the fly. But yeah, really enjoyed that. Had a lot of fun with it still. I think the second one's probably my favorite still. I don't think this one's quite as good, but it wasn't bad by any means. I still, like I said, I still enjoyed it. And I do like that in the end that Andrew was the one confirmed survivor. So that all being said, tell me what you thought of Hatchet 3 down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.